So, Caitlin, you know what? I have not have a dog in the fight anymore in these NHL playoffs, but you certainly do with the Boston Bruins. Man, I'll tell you what, pretty exciting for you guys.
Very exciting. And I was a little nervous about the whole Pittsburgh New York series, and both teams look super solid, and either competitor would have been a challenge, I think, for the Bruins. But I love a good Boston New York rivalry. I mean, who
Yeah,
doesn't? And the Islanders are putting up a fight. The series is tied 1-1 since last night, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the series. I mean, if we're looking at that game last night, I think the Bruins played a better hockey game. I think technically they were shooting better, they had more shots on goal, they were working passes really well together as a team. Whereas I think the Islanders had a little bit of lady luck on their side. We're getting tips and, unfortunately, a breakaway in overtime last night that led to a loss. But it's going to be a long series, I think, along with pretty much every other series in the NHL, and I'm excited. And if
I
you're any
think.
kind of hockey Boston fan, New York fan, you're engaged and you're locked into this series.
Well, I'll tell you, I think Tuukka Rask, man, that guy has been really showing up. And again, even in 2019,
Absolutely.
he played a great series. And again, as much as I like to give Boston trouble and kind of, yeah, you got to admit they're definitely a team to be reckoned with. I mean, Pasta's playing great. Kresge, Taylor Hall. I mean, they really have a good cast. And again, will the goaltending hold up? Is so far that's been really stellar for them. But again, the Islanders are a good young team. They're really good on the breakout and can hurt you quickly. What are some things that you're noticing? First of all, let's say from Boston that you're seeing right now.
Sure. Like I said, the passing has been great, right? They've been connecting with each other. I think that they're on the same page. I think they just need to like just tone it down a little bit, right? I think their energy was really antsy last night, and they were really anxious, and I felt like at times they could be a little bit scattered. So I think just bringing it down and know that they have the skill set and the team strong enough to beat this team. And if they can just get it a little bit under control, a little bit under wraps, and know that they have a great goalie in net, they're gonna come out of this series victorious.
The playoffs have been just strange. Like I said, the Avalanche have just been rolling, and they've obviously been a good team. I don't think they've been playing really as clean or maybe as ethically as maybe everyone's given them credit for. But again, they're winning nonetheless. But again, even in the Canadian series, the Maple Leafs blowing a 3-1 lead. Boy, that is cause for
Unbelievable.
execution up there.
I don't think anyone saw the Maple Leafs losing at first, right? We're like, "Oh, this is over, right? This
Mm.
is done." But the 4th win is always the hardest for some teams, and to pull a 4-game loss in a row is gonna haunt them for a long time. But hey, the Canadians worked their butts off, and they deserve that win. They earned it.
And man, it really creates an interesting matchup with Winnipeg, which a lot of people aren't giving much credit to. But again, they're a pretty solid team, and they've held strong in this division. And obviously Montreal, who's the fourth seed, a lot of people were down on them. But again, Montreal's got Cole Caulfield, he's the boy wonder, and they got some great veterans and Carey Price. I mean, that guy is playing out of his head. So much it
I
comes
mean,
down to that goaltending.
you look at the East and look at who came out. It was Boston and New York, and they were the 3rd and 4th seed of the East. So honestly, the rankings in the NHL playoffs, I don't think are 100% obviously always right.
Mhm.
And I think it's anyone's game if you make the playoffs. It's anyone's for the taking.
Well, I know you're going to pick Boston to be in the Stanley Cup because that's your deal. So
We've
who are
already
they going to
said it.
play?
Yes.
Who are they going to play?
Yeah, we're taking Boston. Boston's gonna come out of this series against New York with some wins and
Who,
just winning it in general. But I
who,
think they're gonna go back to New York now, and they may lose the first one, but I think they're gonna win on the road and then come back to Boston and wrap it up.
well, who do they play in the Stanley Cup then?
Colorado is just looking great. I,
Don't
I I
say that.
think it might be Colorado.
Oh, I hate those guys.
Who are
All
you
right.
taking?
Well,
Who are you taking?
they're playing.
Who's
They're playing good. But again, Vegas is a good team too. So I think people are a little thrown off guard by the fact that they lost. So the game was so one-sided. But again, that happens in the playoff series. Your first game is
definitely
usually a stinker, and then the rest of them get really competitive. So be interested to see how that all shakes out. And then we didn't even talk about Tampa Bay and Carolina. I mean, that is just a blood fest right there, and really either team could be a strong team to deal with in the playoffs.
Absolutely, and I think that's the Bruins or New York's worst fear right now is whoever comes out of that series is gonna be a very, very strong competition, and they're looking really good too. So I was very surprised as I think everyone was that Carolina just came through, but I thought Nashville put up a great fight, and I was rooting for them.
Hey, on another topic, what's coming up right around the corner is the expansion draft is on June 3rd. So that's coming up a few days. A lot of tight cheeks out there. People not sure they're gonna get moved or what they're gonna do. I know they
Right.
changed the rules this year based on what Vegas was able to do, basically get a team in that was ready for the finals. I'm really not sure what to think of the Kraken myself. I hate the name. I think the name is the stupidest name ever. But what's your take on the whole deal?
Well, the expansion drafts, it's got to be nervous for people that aren't locked into their team and aren't like the stars. You know, your dreams of sticking with your team that you maybe have formed a good bond with this past season, it just could be ripped and gone just like that. And you're now in Seattle, and but maybe that could be a great first start. I mean, look at Vegas, what they've done with their team. Everyone's going to say that they don't think this new Seattle Kraken's going to be as good as the Vegas Knights were when they first got all their draft picks, but this expansion draft makes it almost kind of easy for Seattle to kind of be good. They have free range on pretty much a lot of great players, and a lot of good players are going to be stripped from their team this season. And I'm excited. I like the name. I think the octopus theme's cool, and the colors are cool, and I think it's going to be a fun next season coming up. And it's going to come up so fast because of COVID and the whole timing now. And October is going to come up super
I
quick.
just, for me, I just keep thinking of the old leprechaun in a tree. Must be some crackhead who got a hold of the wrong stuff. But you know me,
I
I'm
have no
weird.
idea
So
what you're talking about, but okay.
you don't know? Oh my God, you have to just Google leprechaun in a tree and watch the video.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll know, you'll get it. So, yeah, well, listen, we're wrapping up here on the NHL. These games are moving into the heart of their series. Going to be some real interesting games this week. Any games that you're looking forward to watching?
I think the Vegas Colorado series is going to be one that I'm going to be definitely looking into. I definitely want to see Vegas show up and show who they really are. I think they definitely let Colorado get the best of them last game, but again, Boston New York series is going to be intense, and they're going back to New York, and that stadium gets so loud and so popping. Those fans are crazy. Last game they played in New York, it was insane. And every play, they were just yelling and chanting. So that energy, the Bruins have to be prepared mentally to hear a lot of noise. And I know Boston, the Garden made a lot of noise last night with the ref chants and just all the Boston chants that you can imagine going on. But they again, New York Boston rivalry. It's going to be very interesting, and I'm excited. The fans are engaged, and it's full crowd now at this point. It's full capacity, full full noise.
Are you one of these haters who's going to stop watching if your team loses? I ain't going to watch the playoffs if my team loses. I hate
Do
that
you think
excuse
that
of
I'm that
saying
kind of person?
you are.
No, no, not
Okay,
at all. I
good.
really, really enjoy watching playoff hockey all the way through. And I mean, you're a St. Louis Blues person. You're not stopping watching hockey. You've actually jumped on the Boston Bruins train. So welcome aboard. We love to have you, and I'm excited that the Boston Bruins are gonna take down the New York Islanders this week or
Well,
next week.
hold that thought. Hold that thought. We'll check in about it next week. So, Caleb, we'll catch up with you next time. It's Rinkside Report.
Thank you very much.